is Gerald Iragorri, and I'm a drummer and a teacher. I'm a music teacher. I've been playing drums since I was about 3 years old. I got my first drum set when I was 3. It was a toy drum set, little baby drums. But, I just was really drawn to it. And my older brother was also a musician, and so he had a band, and ever since I was a really little kid, I really enjoyed drums. I was just naturally drawn to them. And so when I was about 3, I saw a set of toy drums at a store, and I had to have them. I just begged my parents to buy them for me, and they did. And they probably lasted like an afternoon. I broke them right away. But, and they kept buying me drums, after that. And finally in 4th grade, I got my first real drum set, And yeah, ever since. I've been teaching drums for about 10 years now, 10 or 11. A really good friend of mine who has been teaching for a really long time had a music school, and he was just teaching guitar. So and I've been playing with him since high school. And he said, you should teach. Why don't you, I've got some students that want to take drums, why don't you start teaching them? And that was back when he was doing it out of his garage. And we just set up a little drum set there, and I did. And I started teaching a few kids, in his garage. And then later he got a school, and I started teaching at his school. And yeah, that's about 11 years since I started. The thing that really led me to want to teach drums to kids, or anybody really, because I've also taught a lot of adults, is it's really a rewarding thing to do, and it's fun, and it's really easy to teach someone a basic drum beat, and when people want to do it, it's really rewarding. And so I get a lot of satisfaction from playing drums, and it's really fun, and I think it's a neat thing. And so passing it on to other people is kind of, I almost see it as a duty. You have to kind of give back from all that I get from playing, and people come into my gigs and see me play, and they really enjoy it, and I kind of feel like you have to pass that to someone else. And I spent a lot of time learning how to play, and you don't want to just keep that to yourself. It's cool to pass it to others, to give it back. So, and I enjoy it, and it kind of comes easy to me, and it's the kind of thing that it's rewarding to do. It's fun to see someone learn their stuff and get it, so it's a really cool interaction. So it's kind of like the other half of performance, is to actually show someone else how to perform. I'm inspired as a musician by other musicians, mostly. Especially nowadays. There's so many videos, for example, on YouTube and, Vivo, whatever else, there's so many people playing, and then there's so many old videos from, since the beginning of movies and stuff that you can find. You've got people playing, as far back as, the 1930s, or even before that, playing all kinds of different things, classical music, jazz, later rock, all the way to today, where people are making, I believe that today people are making the best music that's ever been made. They may not be on the radio, they may not be on TV or all that, but people are just on their bedrooms and their homes making amazing music, and they're posting them. And it's really cool to see young people playing at a really high level, but it's also really great to see the people that came up with this stuff, the all masters of the jazz people, the classical people that you can find, from the first half of the 20th century, which is, some amazing music being made then, and some film, you can watch it, all performances. So watching performers is inspiring to me. kind of music that I really enjoy playing has always been rock. I started playing rock from the time that I was a kid. You know? But the music that I worked on the most and that I've really spent time learning, it's always been jazz. That's what I really enjoy to play, and it's very different and very challenging. And rock, not that it's easy, but it's something that I grew up with. Ever since I was a little tiny kid, my brother listened to a lot of rock, and I always was around that music. Whereas jazz I kind of picked up later when I was in high school, and jazz is extremely challenging. It's not something that, it's not like a young person's music exactly. I see young people playing it great too, but it's different. The best jazz musicians are in their 70s or 80s, and it's because it takes that long to play well. And that's what I like the most is jazz, but also rock. I mean, rock is my roots, so to speak. It's just what I know the best. But jazz is what I want to know the best, what I really enjoy. What I want to achieve as a musician in general is to leave behind a big body of work. I want to record, because performances basically they vanish. As soon as you finish the performance, it's gone. But when you record, it's permanent, or somewhat permanent. It's there for posterity. You can pass it on, you can show it to other people, and that performance stays around. So the thing that I really want to do as a musician is to record and continue recording all the time and have a large body of work that I can, call my own. And so that's somewhat of a goal, but also I want to always improve as a player, as a drummer. I want to always get better every day. I want to, achieve excellence, so to speak, in my instrument, which is very difficult to do, but I want to always be better than the day before. And hopefully the recordings will show that it gets better and better all the time. I'm not just a drummer, I also play guitar, I also play piano, bass, and percussion instruments too, Latin percussion. And I've always thought that knowing other instruments makes you a better musician in general. So for me, being able to play guitar or bass or piano, it enhances my drumming because I understand the music better from being able to understand the roles of the other instruments. And now, as a result, I kind of think of all the instruments as the same thing. I believe that all those instruments that I named are basically the same thing. They're called in the jargon, they're called rhythm section instruments. Piano, guitar, bass, drums, percussion. Those are rhythm section instruments. And since about half or more of all instruments is rhythm, understanding rhythm well allows you to be a good musician on anything. Even if you only know one or two little things on guitar or piano or whatever, if you have good rhythm, you'll sound like you can play it. So it only enhances all of your other musical talents, if you will, or your musical understanding when you play other instruments. I would like for other people to think of me as a good listener as a musician. That's a very specific skill. Being able to be a good listener means that you're always going to be paying attention to what other people are doing when they're playing. Being a good listener means that you're sensitive to what other people are doing in your group, in your band, or whatever musical situation you may be in. And being able to blend well, being able to become kind of one with the music. And being a good listener is probably the number one tool to be able to do that. When you're not just stuck in your own head about playing your instrument, and you're able to be paying attention to the other people that are playing with you, then the quality of the music is enhanced. And so being a good listener to me is a huge asset. And if other people that I play with say that I'm a good listener, to me that would be the best compliment. Music is, a really wonderful thing. It makes us experience emotions in kind of an intangible way. Like, when you read a story, it's a very specific set of emotions that it brings, sadness in a particular way, or happiness, or, those kinds of things that are, connected to language. But music is very different. It still kind of brings about those emotions, but in a very abstract way, in a little bit more like vague way. And when you see a good performer, it's exciting, and it's fun, and it's also an emotional experience. What I would hope would be that my music, whatever I play, any of the styles with any of the different bands that I play with, would end up making people have positive emotions and to be inspired in their own way. If I can inspire other musicians, that'd be wonderful. If I can inspire kids to want to play music, that would be even better, or just to have a good time, to very simply go see a band and enjoy them, and having a good time, or maybe make them dance, or maybe, if it's a song that they really enjoy, to really make them happy. That's what it's all about.